Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is April 21st, 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, Hansi Flick has revealed his future plans. Also, Bastoni rejecting several clubs because he's only interested in Barcelona. And finally, Deco still chasing Alex Remiro. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Bo. We'll begin with the bad news that Patricio Pacifico, the 20-year-old left back who Barcelona signed on loan during this winter transfer market, someone that I told you Barcelona had decided to sign him on a permanent transfer, has tore his ACL during Barca Athletic's most recent match. And even though Barcelona have not released an actual timeline, it's expected that the Uruguayan will be out of action for 8 to 9 months, which is an absolute blow to Barca Athletic, because not only had Patricio Pacifico become an important part of Giuliano Belletti's team, he had also become a leader on and off the field, someone that Barcelona again had decided to sign him. We'll see whether the club will continue with the signing of Patricio Pacifico, but definitely a big blow for Barca Athletic, who are, right there in the playoff zone, and also, of course, a big blow for the player himself. I wish, of course, Patricio Pacifico a speedy recovery, and of course, I'll let you know whether Barcelona decide to continue signing him or whether they'll pass after this serious injury. Now, speaking of players that Barcelona signed during the winter transfer market, guess who trained today with the first team? It was no other than Juventus Einstein, the 18-year-old Dutch center back, an incredibly promising center back that Barcelona signed during the winter transfer market. He trained in the morning today with Hansi Flick and the first team, and then later in the afternoon played with the Juvenil A, or the under-19 team, against Cornellà, which of course is great news because Juventus Einstein had been injured for quite some time. I think he got injured April of last year or something like that. He's been injured for several months. So now he is getting more and more action. Barcelona are treating this season and the summer as a preseason for Juventus Einstein, where they expect him to be, fully healthy and ready next season to, play with Barca Athletic, and who knows, maybe even make it to the first team. Now, another player that a lot of you are always asking me about is, of course, Hamza Abdelkarim, the Egyptian center forward who Barcelona also signed during the winter transfer market on loan. He had been out of action due to some muscle problems, but today he appeared once again with the Juvenil A, which of course is a good sign, meaning that the Egyptian is now back from injury. And of course, he will have the remainder of the season to show whether he has what it takes to remain at Barcelona. Now, speaking of Hansi Flick, since we mentioned his name when talking about Juventus Einstein, of course, tomorrow Barcelona will be playing against Celta Vigo at the Spotify Camp Nou. Barcelona will need to win, given that Madrid won their respective match against Alaves. So if you want to maintain that 9-point lead over Real penalties, we will need to win against Celta Vigo. And of course, Hansi Flick participated in a pre-match press conference where he revealed his future plans, and this is what the German coach had to say. It's a big dream. There are two things I'd like to achieve, and one of them, of course, is winning the Champions League. I think we can do it. We need to make the right decisions. We have to make the right choices in the transfer market. We've got a young squad, and we've got potential. The second thing I want is to be the manager of this ground when it's finished. Talking about the Camp Nou, of course. I don't know when it will be finished, but it always depends on our performance and how we play. I like how things work here. It's a big family. We've got a lot of energy in the team despite being knocked out of the Champions League. That's certainly my plan. I've said it before and I'm 100% honest. This is going to be the final stage of my career. I feel great at the moment. I'd like to renew, but now isn't a time to talk about that. Again, I feel great at the moment. I'd like to renew, but this isn't the time to talk about that. So there you have it, folks. Hansi Flick saying it out loud that yes, he wants to renew his contract with Barcelona. As you know, Flick's contract expires in the summer of 2027. Barcelona want to add another year, extended till 2028 with an option to add it by another year until 2029 based on performance. We know that Hansi Flick, or according to reports, Hansi Flick had verbally agreed with Barcelona that yes, he wants to renew, but he doesn't want to negotiate until the end of the season for two reasons. Number one, he wants to stay focused on the season, on winning La Liga. And of course, number two, because he wants the club to evaluate him based on the results of the season, not just based on hype or emotions or whichever. And there it is, Hansi Flick confirming that yes, he wants to renew, but he wants to wait until after the season. And of course, saying that, yes, Barcelona will be the final club and that he wants to remain the coach until the Camp Nou is done. And when will Camp Nou be done? Till 2028. But of course, I hope he stays for many, many more years. Now, on to the big bombshell, or the other bombshell, because I think the Hansi Flick news is a bombshell, but on to the other bombshell of the day, because ladies and gentlemen, Bastoni has rejected several offers, including from Liverpool, Man City, and they're saying even Real Madrid, because Bastoni has one thing and one thing on his mind only, that it's either Barcelona or Inter Milan. So he either stays at his current club or he goes to Barca. No other club is Bastoni interested in. Now, as you know by now, Barcelona have actually reached an agreement with Bastoni to join the club, join Barcelona. However, Barcelona now need to negotiate with Inter Milan. So far, the conversations between both clubs have been through intermediaries. And it's reported that Bastoni is so keen on coming to Barcelona that he's willing to participate in his exit. In other words, he's willing to sit down with Inter Milan to help facilitate the negotiations between both clubs. Because, of course, it's reported that Inter Milan want between 70 to 80 million euros, which is something that Barcelona are not willing to pay cash. However, Barcelona are willing to make a deal where they can pay part of it cash, like maybe 50, 55 million cash, and then offer a player. And I told you in a previous video, Inter Milan are interested in Hector Fort, but now new names have emerged that Inter Milan are interested in, including that of Rooney Bardghji, the 19-year-old right winger that Barcelona signed this last summer. Someone that Barcelona signed for 2.5 million euros, and his value has gone up. So Inter Milan, of course, eyeing Rooney Bardghji. And the other player that Inter Milan would also be interested in would be Aaron Jakobishvili, the 20-year-old goalkeeper, Barcelona goalkeeper, who's currently on loan with FC Andorra in the second division, someone who's been doing pretty well in the second division with FC Andorra. These are amongst the names that, well, Inter Milan are interested in. Honestly, when it comes to Rooney Bardghji, I think it would be a mistake to include him as part of the deal. I think he has a lot of potential. Plus, if he leaves, who's going to, replace Lamine or sub-Lamine whenever Lamine needs rest or is injured or suspended? Ferran, God help us, right? As far as Jakobishvili, great goalkeeper with lots of potential, but we do have a lot of goalkeepers. So that, I think, would be a better option than Bardghji. But, of course, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. Now, speaking of goalkeepers, we will end today's video with the news that Deco continues the chase of Alex Remiro, the 30-year-old Real Sociedad goalkeeper, the starting goalkeeper for Real Sociedad. And, well, one thing happened over the weekend that could place Remiro closer to Deco's grasp. Now, as you know, Deco has even met with Remiro's agent and entourage to express Barcelona's interest in him as the second goalkeeper. His contract expires in 2027, and even though he does have a 70 million euro release clause, Barcelona believe that they can sign him for much, much less since he will be entering the final year of his contract. And now more so because, of course, over the weekend, their second goalkeeper, Unai Marrero, had one hell of a performance, stopping Atletico Madrid in Copa del Rey final, and he also stopped two penalties by Sorloth and Julian Alvarez and became the hero of the night, handing Real Sociedad the Copa del Rey trophy. And this, of course, is making Real Sociedad leadership consider on whether to make him the starting goalkeeper. And if that happens, of course, that makes it that much easier for Deco to try to sign Alex Remiro, which, as I've said many times before, what the hell are we doing? We have a million goalkeepers. Do we really need another one? But anyways, that's just my opinion. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. I did upload another video a few moments ago. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.